Captain Li Huan gripped the control panel as his starship, New Seoul, drifted through the empty void of the outer rim. 3 years of deep space exploration had yielded nothing but dead rocks and cosmic dust. His crew was getting restless, and fuel supplies were running low. Just another routine scan of this forgotten sector, then they'd head back to civilization. The bridge hummed with quiet activity. Park Minji sat at her communications station, methodically checking frequencies for any signs of intelligent life. The other crew members, a mix of humans and various alien species, went about their duties with practiced efficiency. Lieutenant Kang Junho monitored the navigation systems, while their Zilani engineer, Vextar, kept the engines running smoothly. Suddenly, Minji's console erupted in a cascade of blinking lights. "Captain, I'm picking up something unusual," she called out, her voice cutting through the bridge's ambient noise. "It's a transmission, but it's incredibly old. The signal pattern suggests it's been bouncing around space for centuries." Huan pushed himself from his command chair and moved to her station. "Any idea where it originated?" Minji's fingers danced across her controls, isolating and amplifying the signal. Static filled the bridge speakers, followed by fragments of what sounded like human speech. The transmission crackled with age and interference, but certain words came through clearly. "This is Admiral Chen Sato of Earth Defense Command. If anyone receives this message, know that Earth has fallen. The Vorthak fleet has broken through our final defenses. We are initiating final protocol. To any surviving humans, remember what we taught you. Stay hidden, stay alive. Earth may be lost, but humanity endures." The bridge fell silent. Even the alien crew members seemed affected by the gravity of the message. Earth's destruction was ancient history. Every species in the galaxy knew the story. The birth world of humanity had been obliterated by the Vorthak Empire 300 years ago, leaving humans scattered and powerless throughout the galaxy. Minji worked frantically to clean up more of the transmission. "Captain, there's more, something about coordinates and a protocol designation. The signal seems to be pointing toward the Kepler Nebula." Vextar's mandibles clicked nervously. "Captain Huan, the Kepler Nebula is restricted space. The Galactic Coalition has forbidden entry since the Vorthak War ended." Huan studied the star charts on his screen. The Kepler Nebula sat at the edge of known space, a swirling mass of gas and stellar debris. According to official records, it contained nothing but radiation and broken worlds. But if this transmission was authentic, there might be something more. "Run a deep analysis on that signal," Huan ordered. "I want to know everything. Age, point of origin, encryption patterns, everything." As Minji worked, more fragments of the transmission became clear. References to hidden bases, survival protocols, and something called the awakening sequence emerged from the static. Most intriguing were the repeated mentions of humans who had vanished during the final days of the war. Lieutenant Kang approached the captain's chair. "Sir, if there really are survivors out there, shouldn't we report this to the Coalition immediately? They have resources we don't." Huan considered this carefully. The Galactic Coalition had governed this sector of space since the Vorthak defeat. They maintained order and prevented wars between species, but they also strictly controlled human activities. Humans were considered a protected species, essentially refugees under alien guardianship. "The problem is," Huan said quietly, "if we report this and we're wrong, we've wasted Coalition resources on a wild hunt. But if we're right and there are human survivors using advanced technology, the Coalition might decide they're too dangerous to exist." The bridge crew exchanged glances. Everyone knew how the Coalition dealt with technological threats. The Vorthak themselves had been completely exterminated after their defeat, not just defeated and displaced. Minji suddenly straightened at her station. "Captain, I've isolated more of the transmission. It contains star charts and what looks like a coded message. But there's something else. The signal shows signs of quantum encryption, technology that's supposed to be impossible." Vextar's eyes widened. "Quantum encryption requires computing power beyond anything we know. Even the most advanced Coalition ships can't generate those kinds of calculations." The implications hit everyone simultaneously. If humans had developed such advanced technology, They weren't the helpless refugees everyone believed them to be. They might be something far more dangerous or far more valuable. Juan looked around his bridge at the faces of his crew, humans and aliens who had served together for years, bound by loyalty and shared purpose. Whatever decision he made would affect all of them. "Plot a course for the Kepler Nebula," he finally ordered. "But we go in dark, no communications with Coalition. Command until we know what we're dealing with." As the new soul changed course toward the Forbidden Nebula, none of them could imagine what they were about to discover would change the balance of power in the entire galaxy. The alarm screamed through the hidden colony as Commander Kim Tae-jo watched the sensor displays with growing dread. 3 Vorthak scout ships had somehow penetrated their quantum camouflage, their sleek black hulls gleaming against the asteroid field. After 3 centuries of perfect concealment, humanity's greatest secret was about to be exposed. "How did they find us?" demanded Dr. Choi Yeona, rushing into the command center. Her face was pale as she watched the enemy vessels circle closer to their hidden base. "Their new scanning technology," Taejo replied grimly. "Our intelligence was wrong. The Vorthak have been upgrading their detection systems." He turned to his communications officer. "Get me Captain Li Huan on the new Soul. We need immediate evacuation protocols." But it was too late. The lead Vorthak scout ship had already begun transmitting. Within minutes, their location would be broadcast to every Coalition fleet in the sector. 3,000 human survivors would be discovered, and with them, the advanced technology they had spent generations developing. Taejo made the hardest decision of his life. He walked to the central command console and placed his palm on a scanner that had never been activated. The device hummed to life, recognizing his genetic signature. "Final protocol authorization required," the computer announced in a calm voice that seemed absurdly peaceful given the circumstances. "This is Commander Kim Taejo, Colony Designation Terra 7. Authorization code, Phoenix Rising. Initiate final protocol across all networks." The computer paused for exactly 3 seconds. "Final protocol confirmed. Awakening sequence will commence in 60 seconds. All hidden assets will decloak simultaneously. May humanity reclaim its place among the stars." Across the colony, emergency lights began flashing. Every human stopped what they were doing as the announcement echoed through the corridors. Children who had been born in hiding looked up at parents who had never spoken of the world beyond their secret home. Engineers abandoned their workstations. Scientists left their laboratories. Everyone knew what final protocol meant. The 60 seconds felt like an eternity. Then, throughout 12 star systems, something impossible happened. In the Centauri system, a massive space station shimmered into existence where there had been empty space moments before. The Rigel mining operation suddenly revealed itself to be a fully armed military base. Near the ruins of old Earth, an entire fleet of human warships materialized from quantum camouflage, their hulls bearing symbols no alien had seen for 3 centuries. The Vorthak scouts attacking Taejo's colony found themselves surrounded by ships that appeared from nowhere. But these weren't the primitive human vessels from historical records. These ships moved with fluid grace, their hulls rippling with energy fields that seemed to bend space itself. Captain Yoon Sujin commanded the lead human vessel, the Phoenix Dawn. She had been born in hiding, trained in secret, and had never seen open space until this moment. Now she watched as her ship's weapons locked onto the Vorthak scouts. "Target the lead ship," she ordered her crew. "Show them what 300 years of preparation looks like." The Phoenix Dawn fired its primary weapon, not a projectile or energy beam, but something that made the Vorthak ship's own systems turn against it. The scout vessel's shields collapsed as its own power grid overloaded. Its weapons rotated to target its companion ships. Within seconds, the Vorthak were fighting themselves. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. Human ships didn't just attack. They converted enemy technology in real time. Vorthak vessels found their navigation systems redirecting them into asteroid fields. Coalition patrol ships discovered their communications networks broadcasting human signals instead of their own. On the Coalition capital world of Nexus Prime, emergency sessions convened as reports flooded in. Admiral Zektor of the Altarian fleet watched in disbelief as his tactical displays showed human ships performing maneuvers that violated every law of physics he understood. "They're phasing through our shields," he reported to the High Council. "Our weapons pass right through their hulls, but their attacks are hitting us perfectly. It's impossible." But it wasn't impossible. It was human ingenuity pushed to its absolute limit. Dr. Choi Yeona's research teams had spent decades studying captured alien technology, not to copy it, but to understand its weaknesses. They had learned that every alien species relied on neural network connections for their technology. Humans didn't. While aliens interfaced directly with their machines through biological connections, humans used crude but flexible manual controls. This meant human ships could operate independently when alien vessels became corrupted by quantum interference weapons. The galaxy watched in stunned silence as humanity revealed capabilities that shouldn't exist. Ships that could exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Weapons that turned enemy fleets into unwilling allies. Defense systems that learned and adapted faster than any artificial intelligence. Within 6 hours, every major alien military force had encountered human vessels. None had been destroyed, but all had been rendered helpless by their own corrupted systems. Humanity hadn't just returned to the galaxy. They had announced themselves as its new technological masters. The age of hiding was over. The age of human ascendancy had begun. The war that everyone expected to last decades ended in just 4 months. But it wasn't the kind of war anyone had imagined. Engineer Yoon Soo-jin worked around the clock in her makeshift laboratory aboard the Phoenix Dawn, surrounded by captured Vorthak technology. The enemy neural control systems lay spread across her workbench like puzzle pieces waiting to be solved. Her team of human engineers had been analyzing alien tech for weeks, but Soo-jin had made a breakthrough that changed everything. "Captain Lee, you need to see this," she called out as one entered her lab. Sparks flew from damaged Vorthak components as she connected human-made interfaces to alien circuits. "What am I looking at?" Juan asked, studying the strange hybrid device she had created. "This is how we end the war without firing another shot," Soo-jin replied, her eyes bright with excitement. "The Vorthak use biological neural networks to control their entire fleet. Every ship, every weapon, every defense system is connected through their commander's brain patterns." She activated her device. On the lab's main screen, they could see a Vorthak battlecruiser drifting in space nearby. The massive ship had been hunting human vessels for weeks, its weapons causing significant damage to several colonies. "Watch this," Soo-jin said, pressing a sequence of buttons on her hybrid control panel. The Vorthak ship's lights flickered. Its engines stopped firing. Then, slowly, the massive vessel began turning toward a nearby Vorthak patrol fleet. "You're controlling their ship?" Juan asked in amazement. "Better than that, I'm making their own neural network think the patrol fleet is the enemy. As far as that battlecruiser knows, it's defending Vorthak territory from human invaders." Within minutes, the Vorthak ships were firing on each other. The patrol fleet scrambled to defend itself, but their weapons systems were also being corrupted by Soo-jin's device. Soon the entire Vorthak formation was in chaos, their ships attacking randomly as their neural networks received conflicting commands. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy as human engineers replicated Soo-jin's breakthrough. The Zilani Confederation watched in horror as their robotic defense drones turned against their creators. The Altarian fleet found their navigation systems leading them into dead-end sectors where they ran out of fuel. But the most shocking moment came when the Vorthak Emperor himself tried to coordinate a final assault. His flagship, the Dominion's Fist, was the most advanced vessel in known space. Its neural control system was so sophisticated that even the Emperor's own thoughts could direct its weapons. Captain Park Min-ji had been assigned to handle this particular target. She sat in her command chair aboard the human vessel, Rising Sun, watching as the enormous Vorthak flagship approached Earth's orbital defense grid. "All systems ready, Captain," reported her tactical officer, Lieutenant Kang. "Junho, remember, we're not here to destroy them," Min-ji said calmly. "We're here to show them a better way." The Rising Sun activated its quantum interference array, The Vorthak flagship suddenly stopped its attack run, its weapons powered down, its shields deactivated. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the impossible occurred. The Dominion's fist began broadcasting on all human frequencies. "This is Emperor Vorthak of the Vorthak Empire," came the transmission. I can see what you've done. My neural network is showing me memories that aren't mine. Human memories. Your people's suffering. The destruction of your world." Minji exchanged glances with her crew. This wasn't supposed to happen. The neural corruption should have just disabled the ship's systems, not created this kind of mental connection. "Your Majesty," Minji responded carefully, "we don't want to hurt you, we just want the war to end." "I can feel your sincerity," the Emperor replied, his voice filled with something that sounded like wonder. "For the first time in my life, I understand why you fight. Not for conquest, but for survival. Not for glory, but for your families." Across the galaxy, similar conversations were taking place. Alien commanders who had been corrupted by human neural interference found themselves experiencing human emotions and memories. They saw the destruction of Earth through human eyes. They felt the pain of 3 centuries in hiding. They understood for the first time what it meant to be human. The war ended not with a final battle, but with a series of conversations. What amazed the galaxy most wasn't humanity's incredible technology or their ability to corrupt alien systems. It was what happened next. Captain Li Huan stood before the reformed Galactic Council, representing humanity for the first time in 3 centuries. The assembled alien leaders, many of whom had been enemies just days before, listened as he spoke. "We could have destroyed your fleets," Huan said simply. "We could have taken revenge for Earth's destruction. We could have conquered your worlds and made you serve us, the way you made us serve you." The chamber was silent. Everyone knew he was right. Humanity had demonstrated technological superiority that no alien species could match. "Instead, we offer you partnership," Huan continued. "We offer you the chance to join us in rebuilding not just human civilization, but a better galaxy for everyone." The Vorthak Emperor, still affected by the neural connection that had shown him human memories, spoke first. "Your terms?" "No terms," Huan replied. "Just a promise. We work together, we share knowledge, and we make sure that what happened to Earth never happens to anyone else." The galaxy had never seen anything like it. The victorious species offering friendship to their former enemies. It was the most human thing anyone had ever witnessed. 5 years after the war ended, Admiral Li Huan stood on the observation deck of the new Galactic Council headquarters, watching construction crews work on the most ambitious project in galactic history. Below him, ships from dozens of species worked together, rebuilding Earth from the ashes of its destruction. The sight still amazed him. Vorthak heavy lifters carried massive steel beams alongside human engineering vessels. Zolani robots worked, with Altarian technicians to install atmospheric processors. Former enemies now collaborated as if they had been allies for centuries. "Admiral, the council session is about to begin," announced his aide, Lieutenant Park Minji. She had been promoted to diplomatic service after her crucial role in ending the war. Huan nodded and made his way to the council chambers. As humanity's first ambassador in 300 years, every decision he made would shape the future of galactic civilization. The responsibility felt heavier than commanding a starship. The council chamber buzzed with activity. Representatives from 47 different species sat around the massive circular table that had been redesigned to accommodate everyone equally. No longer did powerful species sit at the head while others waited in the margins. Emperor Vorthak raised his scaled hand as Huan entered. "Admiral, we were just discussing the Earth restoration timeline. My engineers believe we can accelerate the atmospheric reconstruction by 6 months." "That's generous, Your Majesty," Huan replied, taking his seat between the Zolani Confederation leader and the Altarian fleet commander. "But we want to make sure we do this right, not just fast." The chamber's holographic display showed Earth's current status. Where once there had been a dead, scarred world, now green continents were beginning to emerge. Oceans sparkled blue under the restored sun. Cities rose from carefully planned locations, designed by the best architects from every species. But the real miracle wasn't the physical reconstruction. It was what had happened to the galaxy itself. The trade routes between our sectors have increased by 300%, reported Chancellor Zektar of the Altarian Confederacy. Human innovation has revolutionized our cargo transport systems. Engineer Yoon Sujin, now serving as humanity's chief technology advisor, activated a display showing the latest developments. We've shared our quantum phase technology with 12 species so far. They're using it to build faster ships, more efficient power systems, and better communication networks. What amazed everyone was how quickly the technology transfer had worked. Humans didn't just share their advanced knowledge, they taught other species how to adapt it to their own needs. Vorthak neural networks became more efficient. Zelani robotic systems gained new flexibility. Altarian energy weapons became more precise and less destructive. There's something else, Sujin continued. The collaborative research stations we've established are producing discoveries none of us could have made alone. The combined knowledge of 47 species is solving problems that have puzzled us for millennia. Juan smiled as he remembered the early days of the reconstruction. There had been skeptics, of course. Many alien leaders couldn't believe that humans genuinely wanted partnership instead of domination. The breakthrough had come during the construction of the first joint research station. A massive stellar engineering project had required technology from 6 different species. When Zelani robots malfunctioned in the station's high radiation environment, human engineers worked for 72 straight hours to find a solution. Dr. Choi Yeona had been part of that team. She still remembered the moment when Vorthak technicians joined the repair effort, offering their biological adaptive systems to help the robots function. Former enemies working together to save a project that would benefit everyone. The cultural exchange programs are showing remarkable results too, added Ambassador Cavil of the Rigelian systems. Human art, music, and literature are inspiring new creative movements across the galaxy. But more importantly, our species are learning from human social structures. This was perhaps the most unexpected development. Humans had introduced concepts that seemed foreign to many alien cultures. Forgiveness, second chances, cooperation between rivals. Yet these ideas were spreading rapidly. The Vorthak Empire had abolished its military conquest doctrine, replacing it with what they called cooperative expansion. The Zelani Confederation had begun including organic beings in their previously robot-only society. The Altarians had established the galaxy's first interspecies university. "Admiral," said Emperor Vorthak, "my people have a question they've been afraid to ask." Juan nodded encouragingly. "Please speak freely. How do you do it? How do humans make enemies into friends so easily? Our psychologists have studied your species for years, but we still don't understand." The chamber fell silent. It was the question everyone had been wondering about. How had a species that was nearly extinct managed to unite the galaxy in just 5 years? Juan thought carefully before answering. "I think it's because we've been the underdogs for so long. When you're weak, you learn that making friends is better than making enemies. When you're hurt, you understand that healing requires help from others." He gestured toward the display showing Earth's reconstruction. "We could have used our technology to dominate you. Instead, we chose to show you that we're stronger when we work together. Every species has something valuable to offer. Every culture has wisdom worth sharing." Commander Kim Taijo, now serving as Earth's planetary administrator, joined the conversation via hologram from the planet's surface. The first human children born on Earth in over 3 centuries just took their first steps today. They're growing, up in a world where humans and aliens are neighbors, friends, and partners. That's the future we're building. As the council session ended, Juan returned to the observation deck. The site below had changed. Construction crews were finishing work on Earth's first interspecies city. Human families walked alongside Vorthak younglings. Zelani robots played, with Altarian children in parks designed by collaborative engineering teams. The galaxy had learned something profound. Humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their quantum technology or their ability to corrupt alien systems. It was their inexplicable talent for turning conflict into cooperation, fear into understanding, and enemies into family. Earth shined blue and green in the starlight, no longer a symbol of destruction, but a beacon of hope for every species in the galaxy. The age of conquest was over. The age of cooperation had begun. The end.